with two eyes, coming at you again with another video. Unfortunately, the premise of this video is a little different. I never would have thought that I will be recording my first video in my new office of my new apartment. That video is going through just and telling everything I went through the past month as to why I haven't recorded anything would be a different video. But this video will be slightly different, slightly on the, I guess you want to say, the downside of things. So like I said, never thought that I would be recording this video. This would be the first video that I would be recording. And I just been sitting back and looking at everything that has transpired over the course of a week, just about, throughout the nation. Everything that is going on in terms of the protesting and the looting and stuff like that. And I'm just looking back at my city in particular, you know, Chicago. You know, this city is definitely known to be, and I'm just going to put this out there, just let you guys know, viewer discretion is advised, because some of the language that just might be used throughout this video. But Chicago can be an asshole sometimes. We can be some asses. We can go overboard with some things. But what I have witnessed today from people in the city of Chicago, on the south and the west side of Chicago, is beyond what I would have ever imagined that I would have seen in the 35 years that I have been on this earth. I never would have thought that I would have seen what has been going on in terms of the looting that has been going on in Chicago. Starting off as protests in the downtown area, from what I'm hearing, because I do see that as of right now, this is Monday, June 1st, and it's 12:24 at night, after midnight. I do know from what I have seen, and from what I have gathered thus far, that this did start initially Saturday, which was, I think, the 30th of May. I'm going to just check the calendar like really quickly. So, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Saturday, which was the 30th of May. So I'm hearing that roughly around Friday, Saturday, this probably kind of semi-started, but it really took a whole structure of its own Saturday night coming into Sunday. It took a whole different structure on its own, and the biggest part of it, and for those of you who are in Chicago, when I get ready to name off the areas that have been hit, a lot of you are familiar with these areas. So it mainly, the big part of it, from when I got wind of it, the big part of it started in the downtown area Saturday night, which was June 30th. The downtown area is when it started. People were on State Street, and like I said, if you're from Chicago, you know State Street is a really big shopping area for a lot of people who not only stay here in Chicago, but also people who visit from Chicago. So that's a really big area. So it started on State Street. It was kind of like in the main loop area sometimes as well too, but it started in the main area of State Street. People were looting the stores, you know, breaking the stores and breaking through the windows and taking stuff downtown, and they managed to get somewhat on Michigan Avenue. And by the time everything had kind of like was about to get ready to escalate downtown, the order was given to raise the bridges. And what a lot of people who live in Chicago, but even just to let you know, people who do not stay here in Chicago, there's a part of downtown that you have to access. In order to access it, you have to cross over the bridge and cross over the Chicago River. And that's the only way to access that part of downtown, unless you're coming in from the north side of Chicago, coming in from the north of Lakeshore Drive, and from the north area, the Gold Coast, and that area right there. So that's like if you're coming from the south side of Chicago, or if you're coming from like the west side of Chicago, and if you want to get into that main shopping area of the Gold Coast and Michigan Avenue and things like that, then you have to cross these bridges that crosses over the Chicago River. And they gave the order to raise the bridges. So if you were caught in that area, either you have to find some way to get up out of there, or you was just caught up in that area. So that area kind of got protected because they raised the bridges. It still was hit a little bit because people start to come in from the north side of where there's no bridges at. So when that order was given, downtown started to be cleared out and things of that nature. And this was all going into Saturday night. Because Sunday, which technically speaking is considered yesterday, Sunday is when a big majority of it happened. So then after they gave the order to raise the bridges, okay, that calmed downtown area down. Downtown area looked like a war zone. State Street looked like just a mess. Okay, prime example of how it looked for those of you. I'm a big trilogy fan, and I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. And in the third installment of the Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, when Aragorn went to get the ghosts of the dead kings who did not fulfill their promise, when him, Legolas, and Gimli went and to get the ghosts of the like I said, dead kings, and when he got them and how they just swarmed everything. I'm talking about they swarmed the ships, they swarmed the massive elephants on the field when they were fighting. That's how it looked with people downtown looting. Let's say that image of Lord of the Rings and what happened downtown, let's say downtown was a fourth of the size of what you can envision a bunch of people looting. So downtown was a kind of small area. So bam, that happened. Late into, and that's when the mayor enacted a 9 o'clock curfew. So basically you couldn't be outside from 9 to 6. You couldn't be outside from 9 to 6. But of course, because people were looting, people were still outside after those hours. So bam, downtown happened. And then now you get into the south side of Chicago now. People have come to the south side of Chicago, and roughly probably like around probably 11:30, 12 o'clock going into Sunday. 87 and Dan Ryan was just a little minor. Like one store was hit on 87 and Dan Ryan, and that is a small shopping area as well too. So one store was hit. It was the DTLR. That store was hit. So that store was hit. Okay, fine. And then we get into Sunday, and it just blows up. Extremely blows up. And it was just so astonishing, and I was just taken aback of how, if you're going, and it's not justifying anything, but if you're going to loot, and if you're going to steal, and if you're going to bust up stores and set stores on fire, you don't do it in your community where you have to shop, where you have to live. You just don't do it in those areas, because when it's all said and done, and you have looted the stores that you shop in, your mammy shop in, your grandmama shop in, your father shop in, stores that you shop in to supply for your children and for your household. When you go and you loot in these areas, and after it's said and done, and when everything calms down, what do you have left? What do you have? A few of the areas that were hit really hard. I mean, these areas was like hit crazy. I'm just gonna read off a list of the few of these areas that was hit really hard. And those areas are 87 and Dan Ryan. Once again, if you're from Chicago and you know anything about these areas and you know what's over there in those areas, then you will understand the magnitude of how these areas was hit. 87 and Dan Ryan. 87 and Dan Ryan has a mini shopping center that has a grocery store. The grocery store was hit. It was like 5 or 6 stores over there that was hit. There was a huge beauty supply store that's been there for not even 5 to 6 years that was hit. 87 and Dan Ryan was hit. 83rd and Stewart. 47th and King Drive. That's the shopping area. 63rd to 67th of Cottage Grove. 111th to 115th in Michigan. Downtown, Roosevelt and Kedzie. Madison, Western. 47th in Ashland. 63rd in Western. 95th in Western. River Oaks Mall. North Riverside. 55th in Wentworth. 79th in St. Lawrence. A.R. Leaks, which is a funeral home on 79th and Cottage Grove, which is black owned, which has been servicing the south side of Chicago for God knows how many years. A.R. Leaks was vandalized and set ablaze. 79th and St. Lawrence. As I always said, 79th and St. Lawrence. 63rd and King Drive. 47th in Cottage Grove. 50th in Cottage Grove. And Commercial Avenue. Commercial Avenue was set ablaze. Some stores were set ablaze on Commercial Avenue. When I mentioned 83rd and Stewart, 83rd and Stewart has a Southside Supercenter Walmart, where a lot of people on the south side of Chicago not only go to 95th and Western, and I do believe, if I did not say, yes, I did say 95th and Western. 95th and Western and 83rd and Stewart are 2 Walmarts, Supercenters, that people on the south side of Chicago go to go shopping, to get their essentials, or to get even electronics and things of that nature. Both of those Walmarts were set ablaze. I forgot to put on the list Tinley Park, I think it was, but Tinley Park has a Sam's Club and a few other stores, and I do believe that probably the Sam's Club and Tinley Park was set ablaze. There is a new Jewel's that was placed on 60th and College Grove, which is right down the street from me. That Jewel's has been there probably about a year or two, I think it is. And I do believe it was attempted that people were going to break into there, but the police, as of what I know thus far, the police have that Jewel's guarded. Now, here's the thing with the Jewel's being guarded. Because on this list, which is 55th and Wentworth, 55th and Wentworth is a shopping center as well too. 55th and Wentworth did have police around there. I do know probably like around 12, 1 o'clock area, right time frame, police were sitting there guarding this area, making sure that people were not trying to come in through the back and trying to come in through the front. 87 and Dan Ryan, they definitely did that in terms of how they broke into that entire area right there. Not only did they have people going in through the front of the stores, they had people coming in the alley through the back of the stores. So these stores was getting hit on both ends, and it was just really crazy. There were places like wig places where mothers who have children go, and they are on the government program to where they have like these monthly coupons that they can go and get food in terms of milk for their kids, you know, protein like cereal and beans and cheese and milk and things like that. These government programs are set in place for mothers who are starting out with kids. And the program, they're on that program all the way to the kid is probably like, their child is probably like 5 or 6 years old, I think. I think 6 is the cutoff time. So all the way from the time when they're pregnant, literally from when they're pregnant to their child is 6 years old, they're on this program, and they have these monthly coupons to get the milk and to get the cheese and to get cereal and things that they need, essentials for their children as far as development is concerned. These places were hit, and all these places that are hit, and the thing that is really crazy about all of this, these were not hit in the Robin Hood manner. And what I mean in a Robin Hood manner, they weren't taking these goods and giving these to people in need. They are taking these goods and they are selling it. So you mean to tell me that you are going to an area, the WIC for example. There's mothers who go in and get this stuff for free. So you want to break into these places, get the stuff for free, illegally get the stuff for free, and then you want to turn around and you want to make a profit off of something that's being given away to people in the first place? What I did not have on this list as well, Hyde Park. Hyde Park have many festivals. Hyde Park in Chicago is like a mini downtown area for the South Side. They acted, from what I hear, they went crazy in the Hyde Park area. And this is the area where sometimes elderly people go to get their medicine. So now you're going to places like Walgreens, and you're looting the Walgreens, and you're going to the pharmacy area and you're taking medicine that people need to survive. People need for sicknesses, to keep the sickness that they have at bay. And these people are going into these stores and just taking this stuff that people need. And it's really sad. And what's crazy about this is that this is just the beginning of it. You know, this is just, you could consider this day one, even though it started Saturday night on the 30th. But this is day one of everything that's been happening. Chicago was supposed to open back up in the first week of June. That's not going to happen. The mayor has ordered, starting at 6:30, for all CTA services, public transportation, that's bus and train, to stop running, to discontinue at 6:30 in the morning until, I think it said 5 a.m. the next morning. I think that's when it said. I did take a picture of it. I think that's when it goes into effect. So yeah, so from 6:30 p.m. to 5 a.m. there's no CTA services. There's no Uber. There's no Lyft. And I get it. People are tired of the police brutality. People are tired of these officers killing people and getting away with it scot-free, basically. I get it. But if you're going to do something as of what people has been doing thus far, don't do it in your community where you have to turn around. And once all of this, everything that you have stole, once you either sell it or keep it for yourself, once it runs out, because these stores that they have hit, the major stores that they have hit them so hard and looted in them so hard that it would probably take weeks to even try to get merchandise. First of all, to clean up, because a lot of these stores have been set on fire. So let's just even look at that part. The store has been looted. The store has been set ablaze. So first you have to restore that part of the store that's been set ablaze. You have to put that into perspective, and that has to be taken care of. You got to get that fire damage taken care of. And then after you get the fire damage taken care of, now you got to clean up everything that has been knocked over, stepped on, tossed, ripped in the store. Now you got to get that together. And then after you get all that together, get the store clean, now you got to get the store restocked. That's going to, and what a lot of people don't realize, downtown can stock them real quick. It's downtown Chicago. Downtown can get stocked within a matter of weeks. Downtown was already getting fixed while this was going on. So while the south and the west side of Chicago is after the Stone Cold Donkey, downtown is getting fixed. Downtown is getting swept up. Everything is getting swept up and boarded up, while you all are walking around looting in these stores. So downtown is already step one. Is just about finished already. Downtown is going to open up within a matter of weeks, because it's downtown. That's the money maker for the city of Chicago. So downtown is going to be open. So what a lot of people don't realize, and while downtown is being fixed, guess what? The south side and the west side is not going to be fixed that quickly. There are black business owners who are breaking down because they put their blood, sweat, and tears into these stores. There are some black business owners that I have seen on Facebook Live that they have actually was able to get to their business in time and defend and protect their business. And by all means necessary, you can't even blame them if they decide to shoot whatever little punk that comes up and steal from their business that they sat and they then pondered over and lost sleep over just getting it up and running. So there were some businesses that were able to protect there were some owners that was able to protect their business. There were some owners who was not as fortunate, and I did see that as well too. Some owners were not as fortunate and was very, very hurt. And the thing that I'm studying seeing people say on social media, they have insurance. Just because someone has insurance does not mean that they want to have their fucking business looted and robbed, because people do not have the common decency to get up. And we've been on quarantine for about 2 months so far. And within that 2 months, you mean to tell me that no one who has been looting, no one had the common sense to find their niche and make some money off of it, but instead you want to steal and make money that way? Instead of you getting off your butt, putting a plan together to get this money the legal way, finding something that you're good at doing because people couldn't go to work. So finding something that you're good at doing and creating you a business and making you some money off your niche. Instead of you, I guess that's just too much like right, and that's too hard for people to fathom to do. So instead of them do that, they want to do it the easy way, the coward way, and go out here and rob, loot, and steal. Make it make sense. Make it make some type of sense, because like I said, this is just the beginning. This is not over with. This isn't over with. Like, I can guarantee you, if I go on Facebook right now, I will probably And what's so crazy? Okay, what's also so crazy is that my brother was saying that while he was out looking at all the stuff that was going on, he was walking past people and hearing people plot on the next area that they're gonna hit tonight. So like I said, it's not done. It's not done. Only thing that I can say is that it's not done. National Guard has been activated here in Chicago. National Guard has been activated. Curfew has been activated at 9 p.m. from 9 to 6 a.m. Public transportation has shut down from 6:30 p.m. to 5 a.m. the next morning. The police can only guard certain stores for so long unless they have shifts. But looking at looking at what happened on 55th and Wentworth, because like I said, 55th and Wentworth was guarded, and around 7 p.m. I think it was 7. Around 7 p.m. probably is when it wasn't guarded anymore and people went for a free fall. By that time, Jewels on 60th and College Grove was guarded. How long will they guard 60th and College Grove before they have to be called elsewhere and it's left open? I'm just really at a loss of words of how my city, the city of Chicago, has acted a stone cold donkey. And there are people who feel as though this is okay. There are people who feel as though this is what needs to be done. And there's ways that this can be done. There is ways that this can be done besides the way that everyone is doing. I'm just going to end this video on that note. I would just say not only the city of Chicago, keep all these cities who are protesting, who are looting, and keep these business owners in your prayers. Keep everybody in your prayers. Keep this country in your prayers. And yeah, it's just crazy. It boggles my mind how we can protest over a cop killing a black man. But here in Chicago, people are killing each other each and every day. People are killing each other. People are sex trafficking. Little girls are coming up missing, things like that. And we don't see people protest over none of that. Gangbangers are in war and no one's protesting over that. But a cop kills a guy and there's uproar. If you're going to protest about things, then you need to protest about everything that is disturbing your community and not just things that can give you an open window to loot and to steal. With that being said, I'm just going to end this video on this note and hope you guys have better days. Hope you guys make better decisions than what you're doing. And let's just pray.